If you can, try to ignore my bedhead during this video. Dude, the support on last video was crazy. I don't think I've ever gotten that many comments in a video, like, ever. Even in, like, my Attack on Titan video, I don't think I got that many comments. I will make a follow-up video to clear up, like, some misconceptions and some things that I realized from the comments. But that's coming when I finish Berserk. Today, I want to talk about this romance anime that I watched on Netflix called Romantic Killer. Now, you might be confused because the title of this video, I haven't decided quite on it yet, but it's going to be somewhat of the esque of like the most evil thing in all of anime, something around there. And it's like, how is something so evil in a romance anime? And like, dude, at first, okay, so I had some misconceptions at first. At first, I thought I hated the character Riri. I thought this was like one of the worst characters in anime almost ever. Up there with like fucking Griffith for me. Like it was bad. But then as the show like continued and I finished the season, I realized that it's not the character, it's the corporation the character works for. Now, you might be confused. Let me break it down. I'll start from the beginning. The show is about this girl. Her name is Hoshi. She likes three things. She has three things that are like very valuable to her and like she does in her everyday life. It's chocolate, video games, and her cat. I forget the name of her cat. She says it all the time, but it's her cat. She one day buys a video game and presses the start button and skips the terms of service because we fucking all skip the terms of service. Who the fuck reads that shit? And because she hit yes, a wizard, I'm not bullshitting, a wizard pops out of her fucking screen and goes, "Oh, you've just accepted a contract with my company, so now I need to, through magic, make it so you get laid." How does the wizard do this? It takes away all of the things she loves, including her living, breathing cat, and makes it so both of her parents leave the country. They leave for New York for the next 2 years. Keep in mind, this is a high school girl. She is, I think, in her second year of high school. And her parents leave for the remaining 2 years of her high school experience to leave her alone because the wizard made them leave. What? And it's like, that's pretty bad. This wizard is like fucking with this girl's life fucking like a lot because now she's completely alone and she is absent of all of the things that give her joy in life. And keep in mind, one very important caveat to all of this is that before the wizard showed up, there was never any interest in a relationship. There was never any time where she was like, "Oh, I really want a boyfriend," or "Oh, I feel lonely." That didn't exist. She was perfectly content with all of the things she loved, being her chocolate, video games, and cat. She didn't care about a romantic relationship. She didn't want that. She didn't express a want for that. But the video game company thing decided, "Oh, that's what you want, so we're gonna take away everything you love already that gives you fulfillment, and you need to get laid now because we said so." Like, what? And it's like, after this, right? Because after this, I'm thinking, wow, this wizard potato guy, because it looks like a potato. I'll put a picture up on screen. I just call it like the potato. This thing is fucking evil. But through the story, you start to realize that it's the company that it works for with all of these set rules. That's the evil thing. Because, okay, I'll walk you through a couple of the things that this wizard thing does before I tell you, like, before I explain more towards the end of the show, because that's spoilers, and the show is actually pretty fucking good. Like, every other character is amazing, and I would recommend the show. One of the first things it does is the girl meets this guy. The guy's name is, I have the names pulled up here, Tsukasa. Tsukasa is like walking, and she bumps into him, and they meet, and they get along relatively soon. The wizard sees that they're getting along. So how do you think the wizard goes about getting them together and making it so they interact more? Did you guess flooding his house? Because that's what it did. It flooded the guy's house to make it so the guy now has to move into the girl's house where her parents are now gone for 2 years. And it's like, you just, like, through more context of the story, you realize that Tsukasa is having a really tough time, and meeting Hoshi, the main character, actually, in a sense, saves him. But the wizard didn't know that. It just fucking flooded his house. It, like, essentially, like, to literally anyone else looking in, just ruined his life just to get this girl laid. Like, and that's not where it ends. So, right after this, after, like, the guy moves in and they have some time in their house, Hoshi meets her long-lost best friend called Junta, right? And it's like Junta, since a child, has always had a crush on Hoshi, and what the wizard did was made it so Junta's reunion with Hoshi, because they've been apart for a few years, was sped up. So they were going to meet further down the line, but he made it so they met now. So, like, she gets laid now. But my thing is, right now, Hoshi is very spiteful towards the wizard and the company, making it so, like, oh, you're literally just, which I would be too, because these people are just forcing her into a romantic relationship, and that's not how it fucking works. You don't do that. So she's like, that's why the show is called Romantic Killer, because I'm going to, like, not engage in any romantic thing ever, because I'm not going to give the company what it wants. But, like, because of this, Junta right now has damn near 0 chances with Hoshi, and he's a great guy, and he's really cool, and him and Hoshi look like they get along. So maybe my thing is, if the wizard wouldn't have done anything and they would have met further down the line, maybe at that point Hoshi would have been ready for a relationship and Junta would have been a perfect match for her. But now, because Hoshi is so against relationships at the moment, the wizard speeding up their meeting made it so Junta has 0 chances with her, the girl that he's loved since childhood. Like, it's so fucked up. And then, dude, and it just keeps going. It just keeps compiling, like, the fucked up shit that the wizard does. The last thing I'll mention before I talk about how it's not the wizard himself, but it's more the corporation, was the third guy. Yes, there's 3 guys. The third guy is Kogane, and he's rich, and he tries to get with her, and she's annoyed because he just tries to give her things. So he looks into her past and realizes that the 3 things she loves the most is chocolate, video games, and cats. So what he does is he goes to her house and gives her all of these things that she loves. Now, prior to this, the wizard explained to Hoshi, hey, if you try to interact with any of the things that you love, even if given to you by other people, you just won't be able to. Like, there will be a magic barrier preventing you from interacting with these things. So the wizard sees that Hoshi received all of these gifts from a potential romantic interest, and the wizard pulls her aside and goes, hey man, if you accept all of the gifts that the guy is giving you, because it would be rude to turn it down, I will let you use all of them. I will let you accept the gifts only if you show romantic interest in the guy. Essentially saying, like, I'll let you have all of the things you love and desire and then made you content only if you fuck this guy. Like, dude, it's insane. And obviously, she turns it down because what the fuck? And this is, like, very, like, this ultimatum is very apparent towards the end. Now, towards the end, Riri, which is the wizard I've been talking about, the potato thing, goes against the company and uses his magic to help Hoshi and help her friends, right? Because the company's only interest, the wizard can only use magic if it's to help the person get laid, essentially. And then we start to realize that it's not Riri, because Riri has a will of his own and actually starts to care for people like Hoshi. It's the company that only has an interest, no matter the cost, of getting the person laid, the subject laid. Because towards the end, Riri now is free of the company, meaning it's not really the wizard anymore, it's just another character in the show. Basically the 4th love interest it becomes. I know, it's weird. I'm not gonna explain it, just watch the show, man. Then there's a new wizard. There's a new one because the company just does not give up. And the wizard goes, because Hoshi, this is gonna be a slight spoiler, Hoshi does get her things back. She gets her 3 desires back. And she's like, well, I got my shit back. I don't really need to worry about anything anymore. Like, it's fine. I don't need to be in a romantic relationship. There's no pressure. And then the wizard shows up and goes, oh, no. If you don't get laid by the end of this year, you're gonna lose the 3 things you love most. One of them being her living, breathing fucking cat. They're gonna disappear for the rest of your life. You will not be able to interact with these things forever if you don't get laid by the end of high school. You know how fucking asinine that is? That is insane. Like, what? It's so fucked up. And it's really the corporation that makes it so these ultimatums and all of these like ridiculous things are like forced onto these people, because that's literally what it is. It's just forced onto you that you have to have sex now. Like, you just have to. It's ridiculous, and I wanted to rant about it. The show itself, very good. Like, every other character that's not the potato, even the potato, like Riri gets good eventually. It's just very annoying when they're on screen, which I think is the point. But every other character is amazing. Tsukasa's sister, Tsukasa himself, amazing character. I think one of my favorite characters from the show. Junta's amazing. Kogane's cool. I really recommend the show. And there's a lot of like very serious themes in the show that I did not expect at all. But yeah, I just wanted to rant about one of the most evil entities I think I've seen in anime ever. Like, these people put fucking, at least Madara just like fucking killed people. Like, they didn't like ruin their lives and force them to have sex with people. Like, he just straight out murdered them. Like, I don't know, man. I think it's so fucked. But that's it from me. I haven't been reading too much Berserk, but I will try to finish it soon so I can make the follow-up video to last video. And that's all from me. I hope you had a good morning.